All right, everybody, we're going to hear Doug Collins, Republican Georgia, and he just takes it to the Democrats. If you guys are against this whole impeachment dog and pony show like I am, then you'll enjoy this.
The chairman and others at the podium, I was actually there and was being interviewed. And when I heard this one come up and confirm that abuse of power was one of their articles of impeachment, it was simply stunning. And my first reaction is been made and rung true completely here today by many of the members on the majority, including the gentleman from Tennessee just recently, who just confirmed it. Abuse of power for article of impeachment means anything they want it to mean. It is the carte blanche coverage. It's saying, we don't really have a case to our caucus, but go out and make it up. Just go out and say what you don't like. If he didn't say something nice to this, if he didn't do a policy you don't like, do this, and that's going to cover you. You'll be okay. Because remember, this is always about an election.
Nadler's been dozing off. This dude right here, he's been dozing off all morning long. He's so uninterested. He's not even interested in what they're saying. He's basically just watching the clock.
How we continue to know this? We keep misquoting the transcript. They don't have the facts, so we keep misquoting the transcript, saying, do me a favor. Again, it's simple. Read it. It's us, our country. I mean, if you've got a case, make it, but don't make it up because you don't have it.
Exactly.
What we have here also is this continual, just repeated attacks on the Ukrainian President, Mr. Zelensky. The repeated attacks. Because we're either claiming he is a liar or a puppet, or as we just called, he's a politician and an actor, so disregard him.
Now, everybody remember, Ronald Reagan was a actor and a politician.
Wow, that's a lot of concern for the Ukrainian people, taking on their very president they've just elected. When we understand and we look at this, this is how it gets to the problem. When you get to a certain point and you can't make your case, when you can't factually add it up, when you have law school professor tell you, well, if you think this, then the inference is okay, then we've lowered the standard to where anything can be brought in. The factual case that had just been made over the past almost 3 hours now by the minority side has laid bare the case on abuse of power. There is none.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it up. You can call it whatever you
Or
want.
is he getting mad?
Try and sell that to the American
Nadler
people,
getting
but,
mad.
they're not buying it. They're not. And it's going to get harder and harder for members to actually go to that well next week or go to that.
He is right here. And people need to show up to their town halls, meetings, and question these Democrats. Why do they feel that assumption and hearsay that would not stand up and Judge Judy should be taken serious?
Where they actually stick their card in and vote yes on abuse of power, and then actually have to go back and explain that. It's easy in this room.
It's easy now.
Your colleagues, but when you're back home trying to explain why you're going to take down a president duly elected over abuse of power because of some of the arguments we've heard this morning, that's just amazing. There is true skepticism about what went on in the Ukraine, and it's deeply rooted with this president. And by the way, there was another time in the late 17 and early 18, Ukraine aid was held. It's not the first time. Skeptical of foreign aid. He ran on this. I've said this before. Most people are amazed that he actually does what he said he's going to do. He runs on campaign that our foreign aid needs to be looked at. He actually does those kind of things. That's what a president and shows true leadership does. The pause was for 55 days. Also, other countries' aid was also held. Lebanon was actually held.
He looks at him.
Others
he looks away.
This is not a new thing. Do not let the majority try to convince the American people that.
Nadler's like, hey, you're destroying my case. Mr. Collins is like, you goddamn right. Looks right back at him. I love that.
Not looking into corruption is a new thing.
Body
Don't
language.
Let them do it. In the words, like I said, others, maybe that's what, when you're having to play a part, you have to do that. You have to make it up. It's called ad lib, and that's what they're doing. Mr. Hale testified, one of the more egregious ones, and I have a friend of mine who texted me just a few minutes ago. Mr. Stubbe's brought this up, I brought this up, but again, it needs to be hit. One of the things perpetrated this morning out to the American people is that people lost their lives in the Ukraine over this held aid. This friend of mine who texted me just a few minutes ago lost limbs on his own body in defense of our country in a war zone. And he says, don't let them get away with this because this is a future act. Mr. Hale testified to this fact. In fact, he repeated it in his deposition. We want to talk about facts? Go to the deposition. Go to the transcript that he had. He said this was future aid, had nothing to do with running the army right then. In war zones, people get hurt and people die, and Russia has invaded Ukraine. They are fighting that. It is a war. People will. But to blame this conversation because you have such a weak case that you're going to try and throw that in just to scare the American people, that's not right.
Exactly. Could not have said it better. Trying to blame Ukrainian deaths on Trump for withholding foreign aid when the Trump administration actually gave the Ukrainians the Javelin missiles for the Democrats to even approach that subject after offering MREs and blankets is in fact shameful. It's not wrong, it's shameful.
Make a case, have your facts, put it in the articles. But when you can't do that, you go in the back room, you start writing articles of impeachment, and you say, uh-oh, we got a problem. Let's put something in there that all of our conference can get behind because they don't like the president. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back for